Hey folks, Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands Motivates, and we're going to bring you another video now talking about the economy and your finances and expenses. One thing we're going to focus on today is not only watching some videos of just people complaining about the economy, but one thing you have to change is your mindset. There are, and we're going to cover this article that I'm going over about 7 everyday expenses that are quietly draining the middle class wealth. Every day we make transactions, we spend with our dollars, our hard earned money. And that's something that we have to give our time. We have to trade hours for dollars, hours out of our day, hours out of our life. And we miss out on things for these simple pleasures. They're not luxuries, they're just simple pleasures that we mistake that these things are valuable to us because they're convenient, because it's a habit. But realistically, these things are just draining away the long term goals that you have. And we're going to look at some videos right now, people just talking about things in the economy that they're going through. And we're going to talk about some solutions on things that you can do to, fight against that. So let's go.
I know the economy is literal shit right now, but why does everything have to just keep getting so expensive and literally so unaffordable for so many people? It's ridiculous. I get my nails done. Yes, I took some time off. Yes, it is like a luxury that I can afford to get my nails done. But it's getting to the point that it's like a little bit crazy. Like $85 to get French tips. Like I don't get a manicure. I don't get anything crazy. $85.
Okay. So here's one of those things where, and I see this at work all the time. There are people who go out and get Starbucks, no shout out to them, but getting your nails done, if you are in an economic situation where you are looking to save money, something as simple as learning to paint your own nails and doing a simple paint is better. Now, again, I'm not going to tell women how to, keep up with their beauty tips, but the price is the price. If you're going to go out and spend in this economy, you're going to understand that you're going to be either forced with two options: either buy or don't buy. You have to do it yourself, or you're going to pay the price that is being asked. Businesses have to thrive. Businesses have to keep up. There's a cost for everything, and businesses have to pay for employees, lights, their bills, their rent, and they have expenses too. Businesses are operating for profit, not for pleasure, not for your benefit. And it's a mistake to think that you have to have a cheaper price so you can afford the luxuries that are not necessities. Because honestly, getting your nails done, so realistically, going to get your nails done at any interval is a luxury. You can paint your own nails just a simple color and still look beautiful. But again, if you're going to go out into today's market in society, you're going to pay with your dollars. And that translates into how much time you spend earning those dollars and how much time you have to make it back. So let's just say someone makes $85 an hour, right? Like I at a hospital, I actually don't make that much per hour. But let's say I did at a hospital. That's 1 hour of work just to get your nails done, for if you had to pay for that. That's 1 hour of work that you have to spend working to pay for that actual getting your nails done. And it goes on. It's not like this is just a one-time expense. The more you do it, you have to look at every expense that you spend as how many hours do I have to work to pay that back. And when you start doing that, is like, okay, I'm going to go get my nails done. That's 1 hour of work. You could one afternoon, you could literally just blow your whole day. Pause. Blow your whole day of what you worked, and one day of work will be just one afternoon. Now you go and do that over a weekend or every week, you're literally just losing a whole day to spend on things that really have no bigger return on value. You're not investing, you're not doing anything that's going to grow that money. You're essentially losing that money. Now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy yourself, but again, these are things. Imagine if she was saving $85 every 2 weeks, then she would be saving $170 a month just on not getting your nails done. Now, maybe after this, she goes and gets Starbucks. That's 13, 14, $15 for a venti. And now it starts to compound and add up. When you start looking at living your life in more of a minimalistic way, meaning that the things you can do for yourself, you do, the things you can't do for yourself, you spend, you actually will see more money in your bank and you still will look good doing it. So let's continue.
Like, what is happening? I know things have to like go up in price, you know, with whatever, but like inflation, are you kidding me? It should not be this bad.
Well, okay, let's stop here. Understanding economics is yesterday's price is not today's price. What you're paying for when we have to get goods here because we don't make nail polish here, that has to get shipped over from a company that now has to pay for the cost to get it over to an ocean, and they have to now get it back to our shop where the person has to buy it. There's an exchange rate. There's so many things that are going on in this macro wider economics, and if you don't understand that, you're looking at just the price absorption, the price shock. And the problem is people do not understand that you're lifting Chicago or even the place that you go and get your nails done, then it's got to come from somewhere. That place has to, get it shipped over. There's a cost to bring it over to this part of the world or wherever part you live at. Then there's taxes on that, with the tariffs going on now. That's a cost for that product. And that's the same for anything that you buy, from electronics to this hat. Anything that's not made in a native country in your native neighborhood, or anything that's not made in your actual area, there's a cost to get that product on your nails. And that means it has to go through several, stop gaps that allow a person to collect money, because the person that's bringing it over here across the ocean is also taking the dangers of losing that or their life or the ship at sea. They have to incur costs to get it over there. There's a cost for fuel that brings it to this part of the world, and where the shop can get it, it has to go through customs, and then it has to be distributed from wherever, Amazon or shipping distributions, to the actual store that you go and get your nails done. This works the same thing for every product that you buy in America. And the problem is that if you're not dictating price by not spending your money, if we did this on a global scale or even a national scale, then the prices would come down. But luxuries, once tasted, often become necessities. And the problem is that you have your own budget. You cannot look at, why I'm just going to keep on doing the routine. When prices go up, you got to limit yourself. You've got to take the time and say, hey, what I've got to do right now is start to get my budget back in order, back in line, and start bringing my price down, bringing my finances back in order, and get my budget under control. If I can't do that, then my budget's going to go out of control, and you're going to be doing this.
Even with like apartments, everybody wants to increase apartments and the rent. You're kidding. Nobody can afford it. My salary does not increase just because you want to increase rent.
Which
I know
means that which ultimately means that, again, you have to get your expenditures under control. If you can't do that, let me go back to me. If you cannot get your expenses under control because you have a salary, which means you have a limited, and she said salary, so I'm assuming that it's not per hour. When you have a limitation on your income, all right, that means that you have a limited amount of money to spend, taxes, and then you have things that go out for your apartment, for your rent, utilities, budget. That's why I had a video on making a budget, why that matters. If you cannot get that under control and be disciplined with that, you would start to do what she's doing, complaining about things, instead of looking at and itemizing what I'm spending. I've already showed you guys before how to do a monthly budget. You need to look at what are your main expenses, the things you have to have: apartment or mortgage, your renting, your living expenses, your utilities, cable, if you're going to even have cable, anything else, car, gas. These are things that you have to pay for in order to survive. Once you get done with that, everything else now becomes whether you should spend it or not. Groceries, that's also on the list. But you cannot make something out of nothing. You can't complain about the prices if you're not willing to budget. And sometimes you can't spend what you want. You might have to get your nails done once in the month, and then the other half, you might have to do the nails yourself, or you might have to do it every other month. Even guys going to the barbershop. Hell, I got a bald head. You have to sometimes make sacrifices. Instead of going to a barber, I just cut and trim my head at home. You might have to let your hair grow out. You might have to trim it down and let it grow out to, a little bit shorter than you would in order to make this budget work. But you got to do things. This is part of the economy people not understanding. You got to do things to trim the fat on your budget. And you're going to have to do some things and take some sacrifices and say, I'm going to have to do that later. I'm going to change up my intervals. If you cannot do that, you will not survive in this economy. And the problem is the government's not doing it, and you see how it works for them. So you got to do something different, folks. That's it, folks. You can go to Ancestry Lands to start owning property today with payments starting at $250 a month, no credit checks, and owning land has never been easier. It's time to build your land portfolio one property at a time. We help you to get dollars from dirt and build generational wealth by owning small plots of affordable vacant land. Contact us to learn more. Oh, and speaking of dollars from dirt, I also wrote a book about investing in land for you readers out there. My book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is on Amazon. The link is in the description section below. Inside, you'll learn simple, easy to read insights that will have you understanding why you should own land today. For more tips and tricks, subscribe for updates, comment below, and let us know what you enjoyed about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
And remember, like and subscribe.